Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Gururatmeve Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranasyakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mamam Brahma Nirakarod Anirakaranamastva Nirakaranam me astu Tadatmani Niragya Upanishatsu Dharmaste Mai Santu Te Mai Santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Tam hovacha yadvikinchetat yadhikishtaha nama evaetat. When Sage Narada recounted all the texts and everything that he knew, all of this was summarized by Sage Sanat Kumara. All this, whatever that you learned, are merely so nama evaetat. All that it is just nama, means words. And says that also is important to know. Sayo nama brahma iti upaste. So what all you learned is nama, which means nama covers all words, and therefore in a way it pervades or covers the entire universe. Because any object can be described as nama and rupa, and therefore between two of them they include all the objects of the world. Therefore nama and rupa are all pervading, and nama pervades rupa because nama stands for a rupa. Therefore nama is all pervasive. Like Brahman is all pervasive, so also nama has that similarity with Brahman. So nama is called Brahma, not in a primary sense, but because sadhus is similarity. Bhashyakara says such just as a pratima or image can be called Vishnu, pratimaya Vishnu buddhi. So pratima is called Vishnu or Krishna or Shiva, etc. because of sadhursya or similarity. That an image and Lord Krishna has similarity in terms of the various limbs, appearances. So between Nama and Brahman there is similarity of all pervasiveness. Therefore, you can say Nama is Brahma. Because for Upasana meditation, we require the mind to be able to lift itself from the thing that is in front of me to what I want to meditate upon, from a Pratima to Vishnu. And that sadrusya, that similarity helps me to do that. So also Nama and Brahma is similarity of all pervasive. Therefore, Nama is Brahma by way of being all pervasive. And that is also realization. After everything is Brahma. So that Nama of course is Brahma, but then Nama is Brahma because it's all pervasive. And therefore, when I realize this fact that Nama is Brahma, then I identify with the Nama, identify with Brahma in the form of Nama, and therefore, whatever be the scope of Nama, whatever be the movement of Nama, extension of Nama, that is what becomes my extension. Then Narada asked, Asti Bhagavo Namno Bhuya iti. O Venerable Sir, is there something superior to Nama? Namno Vao Bhuyasti iti. Yes, there is something superior to Nama. Tanme Bhagwan Pravito iti. May the Venerable Sir please tell me. Vag Vao Namno Bhuyasi. Vag or speech is verily greater than Nama. We discussed in the morning how Nama or word is uttered by the organ of speech, by the speech. Organ of speech utters, and the articulated sound is called Nama. The organ of speech utters sound in general, and a particular kind of sound which is called articulated sound. Like these words are all sound, but they're articulated, therefore they carry certain meaning, etc. Therefore the speech, which is the means of utterance of Nama or word, is definitely superior to Nama, because had speech not been there, Nama would not have been there. In that sense, speech is the cause of Nama, and cause is superior to the effect. In that way, Vagbhava Namno Bhuyasi. The next question is, Asti Bhagavaha Vacha Bhuya. Is there something superior to the Vak also? Asti Manovava Vacha Bhuya. And yes, the Manas is even superior to the speech. So now it's interesting how Bhashyakara explains to us the meaning of all these different words. What is meant by Manaha? Because then there is Sankalpaha, then there is Chittam, then there is Dhyanam, then there is Vijnanam. All of these are nothing but the different vrittis of the mind. So even though it is said Manaha, Manaha means Manas means a mind, it is Manas does not mean the whole mind. It means a given vritti or a given kind of thought of the mind is called Manaha, because it is followed by Sankalpaha, which is also mind. A certain other kind of vritti is called Sankalpa, followed by Chittam, yet another kind of vritti is called Chittam, followed by Dhyanam, the kind of vritti is called Dhyanam, Vijnanam, yet another kind of vritti is called Vijnanam. So all of these are mind. Therefore, by the word Manas here, in this fifth passage, not the whole Antahkaranam or the whole mind is meant. And so what is Manaha? Manaha Manasyana visishtam antahkaranam vachaha bhuyaha. Manasyanam is called manaha here. So manasyanam is intention. So before the words are uttered, inarticulate sound is uttered, like a mantra is recited. All of this is explained in the context of Vedic karma, although it will apply to everything. But in a Vedic karma, then you utter mantras in order to perform a given karma. And before you utter a certain mantra, there is in the mind an intention to utter a certain mantra. You could utter any mantra, but then you intend, I will recite such and such mantra, say Purusha Sukta. Taddi Manasyana Vyaparvat Vacham Vaktavya Prerayati. Thus, once that kind of intention arises in a mind, then that vritti, the intention, then propels the organ of speech to utter a certain word or certain mantra. So, organ of speech utters a certain mantra. Yo devana etc. Suppose that is then, how will that happen? Something should happen in the mind. Because you could utter any mantra, you could utter any word. That a particular word is uttered, a particular mantra is uttered, is because that is preceded by a certain deliberation in the mind. That may I utter this mantra. That is called manasyanam. That intention is there. The intention to utter a given mantra is what is meant by here manas. That particular vritti, that particular thought form is called manasyanam or manaha or intention. Mantran adhiya ucharayam iti. Right? Then karmani, then he proceeds to perform the karma. So karma can be performed only when certain mantras are uttered, because a given mantra has application in a given karma. This is a basic principle about the Vedas. That Vedas have this mantra section or samhita section consisting of mantras, and mantras gain their pramanyam validity only when the mantra has an application in karma. Amnayastu kriyasattvat. The Mimamsakas say that Veda's primary purpose is to make you perform the karma, duty. Because karma alone is the means of fulfilling your desire, fulfilling your need. And if you have desire to gain happiness, desire to gain swarga, happiness in this world or in the other world, you desire to gain certain objects of pleasure, all that desire can be fulfilled when you perform a particular kind of action. Every action produces a given kind of result. And a Vedic karma involves always some kind of a ritual which involves offering of the materials with the utterance of mantra. So with mantra you invoke the devata. That's what a hota or a priest of the Rigveda does. With mantra you praise the devata. That's what the mantra of the Samveda does. With mantra you make an offering to the devata. That's what the mantra of the Yajurveda does, the Adhvari does. So that is how mantra plays the most important role in the performance of Vedic ritual. And that is It's most amazing that as far as Mimamsakas are concerned, the only purpose that mantras serve is their usefulness in karma, nothing more than that. Mantras are wonderful things. In fact, they reveal wonderful meanings and the meaning praises of devatas, and but as far as they are concerned, the usefulness or validity of a mantra is only when it is applicable to a karma. That we will not debate that here, but with reference to that, a karma can be performed only when a mantra is uttered. A mantra can be uttered when in the mind there is the intention that I will utter a given mantra. So when that intention takes place, that thought of intention takes place, that may I utter this mantra, then that intention or that mind propels the organ of speech to utter an articulated sound. Because how come I utter these words? Because in the mind we may not note all these kind of activities taking place. That these words are uttered, but these words, utterance of these words, must be preceded by some mental activity, which mind propels the organ of speech to utter only these words in this sequence, isn't it? And not some other words or in some other sequence. So even though we may not necessarily make a note of what's going on in the mind, before speaking I may not even pay attention to what goes in my mind, but something must go on in my mind before these words are uttered. Because only particular words are uttered, in a particular sequence they are uttered, to convey a particular meaning they are uttered. Now, organ of speech itself is unconscious. Organ of speech does not decide what to speak. Organ of speech is propelled by or impelled by something to utter. It's a mechanical thing, like a machine. And machine needs to be impelled by something in order to function. That organ of speech utters these words is because it is impelled to utter in that manner, and that is done by the mind. But which aspect of mind? Mind when it determines what it is that it wants to utter. So that mode of mind where there is an intention that this is what I will utter. Not the whole mind is responsible for impairing the speech. Only a part of the mind is responsible for impelling the speech to utter. So that vritti of the mind, which is responsible for propelling the organ of speech to utter a given word, which is a given mantra or a given word, is called manasya or manasyana. So that vritti, which is the intention of speaking something, is called manasya. So manovava vacho bhuyah. This manas, this vritti in which the intention is there, is bhuyah, superior to the speech, because it is the cause of the speech. Nothing will happen if that intention doesn't happen. Sometimes, Puja Swami used to describe once, he was invited to some kind of a function where some senior Swami from some organization, I will not tell the name of the organization, but he was invited. And he came to the stage and just stood there. Nothing, no speech, nothing. People are waiting and waiting, and no lecture is coming, and then they say, Swami, you say something. Why? Because the intention did not take place. The words did not emerge from the mouth of the Swami, or XYZ, I should not even say Swami, from that person. It can happen. So when the appropriate thought does not take place, then appropriate action does not take place. or appropriate speaking does not take place. Sometimes you want to sing and nothing happens, I keep on turning pages and the intention doesn't arise. Says, Swami, you sing this something, then somebody suggests, helps me to create that intention. Meaning that until the intention takes place, in this case, the words are not uttered. Therefore, manovava vacho bhuyah. Therefore, manas is bhuyah, superior to vag or speech. Yada manasa manasyati mantra adhiyati. When one intends or makes this intention that may I utter these mantras, asa adhite, then only mantras are uttered. So in the morning in the puja, you utter certain mantras, then may I utter the mantra of the mantra, namely the Rudram, Purusha Suktam, etc. Then this happens. So now pay attention. I don't know whether you will be able to or not. But before you utter a given mantra, something happens in the mind. And that thought is called manas here. Atha adhite karmani kurviya. Then there is intention, may perform these actions. Atha kurute. Then the action is performed. Putramsha pasumsha ichcheya. May I have cattle, may I have progeny. Then he has them. Imam cha lokam amam cha ichcheya. May I attain this world or the other world. And that's what ichchate. That's when the desire takes place. Manohi atma, manohi lokah, manohi brahma. Mine indeed is the Atma, mine indeed is the world, mine indeed is Brahman. Because in that sense, because Nama is all pervasive, then the speech also is all pervasive. Then the Manas also is all pervasive. And therefore, Manohi Brahma, therefore Manas also is Brahma, all pervasive. Mana upasvaiti, and therefore, hey Narada, we meditate upon Manas as Brahma. So, see Narada, we assume that he did it. Not that just a question answer session. That he says something and something, that is not the way. We presume that when sage Narada is thus taught or advised to do this, he does it. They realize that Manaha Brahma, that Manas is Brahma. Then it is said this morning, alright, does that serve my purpose? Fortunately, purpose is very clear to say Narada. Soham Bhagavad Shochami, that I is grieving. Having known that Manas is Brahma, has it made me free from grief? Not quite. Therefore, there should be something else. Asti Bhagavo Manasa Bhuya iti. O Venerable Sir, is there something superior to Manas? Manosvabhava Bhuya Hasti iti. Yes, there is something superior to Manas. Tanme Bhagavan Bravidu iti. May the Venerable Sir please tell me. Then the next one, sixth passage. Sankalpo vava manaso bhuyan. All of these are the vrittis of the mind. Therefore, we must understand what each word means, what kind of vritti or what thought form is meant here. Sankalpa means will. Yada vai sankalpayate atha manasyati. So, what is sankalpa? So, kartavya, akartavya, vishaya vibhagena samarthanam. Sankalpa usually means will. But here, when the mind determines kartavya, akartavya, what is to be done, what is not to be done, what is to be chanted, what is not to be chanted, then all of a sudden you start chanting, some Bhusuktam or something. Say, wait a minute, what are you chanting? Because you are supposed to be chanting Purusha Suktam. So before chanting, now this occasion, at this stage, what is to be chanted is Purusha Suktam, even though your mind says, I want to chant Bhusuktam. Kartavya, akartavya. What is to be done, what is not to be done. Because many things can be done at any time. So, intention arises to do a given thing. At any time, anything can be done, or many things can be done, of which you do only one thing, which is appropriate for that occasion or for at that time. In the context of the Vedic karma, or like the karma that you are doing in the morning, for example, the worship, the Rudrabhisheka. And there also there is some sequence of chanting, etc. And or if you chant something else, and they say, wait, stop it. That puja will tell. Not this one. Suppose somebody is not attentive, all of a sudden chant something which is not in tune with what everybody is, right away you are stopped. No. But you are not doing it, fortunately, by now anyway. Because in the mind, this thing takes place. Kartavya, akartavya, vishayavibhagena samarthanam. What is kartavyam? What should be done? In this instance, what should be chanted? Akartavya, what should not be chanted also. That determination is called sankalpa here. So before you intend or decide to do something, before that, before any decision takes place of doing something, in your mind this deliberation goes on. What is proper to do in these circumstances? What is not proper? Before any action. So before we perform any action, kartavya, akartavya, vibhaga. What should be done? What should not be done? The bell rings. What should be done? Go to the dining hall. I'll go for a walk. The bell rings for the class. I think I'll take a nap. Anything can be there at any time, is it not so? But that we do a given thing at a given time, that happens when the kartavya, akartavya, what is proper or appropriate to do at this time, under these circumstances, and what is not appropriate. At 10:30 at night, then you come to classroom, that is not also appropriate. It's a time to go to sleep, so that will be appropriate. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you go to sleep, that is not appropriate. Then coming to class is appropriate. Although people may be doing anything, I don't know. I mean, if you don't go to all the, we may find some people also taking rest. Maybe that is appropriate for them. But that we do something at any given time is preceded by our determination or assessment of what is to be done, or what is proper to be done, and what is not to be done. This particular vritti is called sankalpa. Vibhagena samartha vishaye chikisha buddhi manasyantaram bhavati. Vibhagena samartha. When that vibhaga, kartavya, akartavya, what should be done, what should, that vibhaga, when that distinction is done, then only the mind is told, hey, you do this. Then the mind says, hey, speech, you utter this. Then speech utters a given word or the mantra. And then a certain action is done. And then a certain result comes. Ultimately, the whole universe is karma phala. The universe is the result of the action. action performed by you, I, and you, and everybody. So it is the result of the collective actions performed by all the living beings. By my karma, I create my. You see, this morning the question was prarabdha, isn't it? Prarabdha, my karma. But by my karma, I create my own world. By your karma, you create your own world. Thus, every jivatma or every creates his or her own world by their karma. And thus, the whole universe is the result of the collective effect of all the karma. So, karma is important because karma creates the world. So, what is this karma phala? That is called loka. And so, karma phala is there when karma is there. Karma is there when the proper ritual is followed, when you utter proper mantras, when you utter. So, when mantras are uttered, when there is proper intent in the mind, and before that, there is proper analysis, determination of what should be uttered, what should not be uttered. Athanantaram vacham irayati, then impels the speech to act. Mantra, the ucharana in the speech, utters the mantra, etc. Then mantras, therefore the names are uttered, then the actions are performed, then the results come, then you have the whole universe here, and the results come of what you desire, and that's how this whole universe is there. Then the Upanishad continues to tell us, and this is by the way called Ishwar Darshanam. If it is not, so what is Ishwar Darshanam? This is what we are told how to see Ishvara. So each one is, when it is said that Manaha Brahma or Sankalpaha Brahma, means it is Ishvara. Ishvara in the form of Sankalpa is all. So look out for everything is nothing but manifestation of Manaha. Nothing but manifestation of karma, because karma phala. Karma is manifestation of mantra. Mantra is manifestation of vag. Vag is manifestation of manaha. Mana is manifestation of sankalpa. This is Brahma manifests as the world. Before that it manifested as karma. Before that it manifested as mantra. Before that it manifested as speech. Before that it manifested as manaha. That is manifested as sankalpa. So this is the Vedic way of telling us when it says, so sankalpaha Brahma iti upasita, appreciate Brahma as manifest as sankalpa. Sankalpa is Brahma or God is manifest as sankalpa. Nobody seems to be excited about this, but anyway, if you think about it, this is an excellent way of Ishwara Darshanam. So this is the Vedic way of appreciating Ishvara, of meditating upon Ishvara. Ishvara is called Brahma here, and Brahma means all pervasive. So what is all pervasive is Brahma is Ishvara, and so world is all pervasive, and therefore karma phala is all pervasive, karma is all pervasive, nama is all pervasive, vak is all pervasive, manas is all pervasive, sankalpa is all pervasive. That is Ishvara? Yes, Swami, but that doesn't seem to turn me on, Anyway, so if this is our glory of Ishvara that is being discussed. These are not ordinary things at all. That there is a universe, and that is it karma phala, that there are these karmas, and therefore there are means of performance of karma, and therefore there is mantras and there is speech. All of this is there. All of this is ultimately manifestation of Brahma, and we will come to the ultimate meaning of the word Brahma through these stages. As we keep on appreciating Brahman in all these successive stages, then they will help us to understand Brahma in its totality or in absolute sense. So, all the relative manifestations of Brahma. which will help us to appreciate the absolute manifestation of Brahman, which will be revealed as nothing but myself, and that knowledge will make me free from shoka or grief. But each knowledge makes me free from grief in a certain way. More Ishwara in my life, less of grief. Because the shoka or the grief is nothing but the result of this I. Narrower the I, more the grief is. Narrower the I, or stronger the ego, stronger the sense of individuality, stronger the division from the world. Stronger the sense of I is, more divided I am or separated I am from the others, is it not so? And more the separation is there, more the sense of isolation, more insecurity, more anxieties, more worries and more grief. So you are expanding your vision. And that's how slowly we are becoming progressively free from the sense of that isolation by seeing ourselves more and more expanded, more and more pervasive. So it's not that one day Narada's grief went away. Progressively, as he sees Ishwara, which is also seeing his own self ultimately, he recognizes himself in all these dimensions of his own self is recognizing, and that is how his sense of narrowness, sense of isolation, sense of separatedness is slowly and slowly diminishing when he sees himself as more and more expansive. That's how grief goes. Not that all of a sudden it disappeared. It keeps on slowly and slowly attenuating and ultimately disappears. So understand that becoming free from grief, gaining knowledge, all of this is a process. It doesn't that all of a sudden I'm enlightened, I'm blissed out. Yesterday I was absolutely stupid and today I become maybe it can happen to somebody depending upon some past action, but that's what people report. But I would find it very difficult. That all of you blissed out, that you are totally stupid moment ago and now you are most enlightened. Maybe that miracle can happen, but I don't think it's wise to wait for a miracle like that. We have to initiate that process. It's a process. Otherwise, why should this be taught in so many stages? Before saying that all this is Brahman, that in so many stages we are told, meaning that discovery of Brahman is in all these stages. Discovery of Brahman in his absolute nature is a result of discovering in all these stages. Tani havaye tani sankalpaikaya nani says that the whole universe is born of sankalpa, is sustained by sankalpa. Everything is born of sankalpa because the determination of kartavya, therefore the intention to do, therefore the action, and therefore the result, and therefore this world. So we can trace the world, which is karmaphala, to karma. The karma can be traced to the accessories of karma, which mantra is one of the important accessories. Mantra can be traced to the speech. Speech can be traced to manaha. Manaha can be traced to sankalpa. So all these manifestations of sankalpa. Manifestation of karma, manifestation of mantra, manifestation of manaha, manifestation of sankalpa. Tani havaye tani sankalpaikayanani. All of these have sankalpa as their origin, sankalpa as sustains them, sankalpa is where they all merge. How do you say sankalpa pervades everything? So there Upanishad helps us to appreciate how sankalpa pervades everything. Because what is what it is because of sankalpa. Samaklapatam dyava prithvi samakalpetam vayuscha akasham cha. The earth and the heaven they dissolve sankalpa. So earth is what it is, heaven is what it is, earth is where it is, heaven is where it is. What's the big deal, Swamiji? It is a big deal. Why does it not turn around? Why doesn't heaven fall down? Why doesn't earth fly away? Why is earth what it is and where it is? I mean, we don't see it's a big deal, but here it is saying that it is sankalpa. Earth does not give the earthness. Heaven does not give heavenness. Nobody is excited anyway. Vayuscha akasham cha. The Vayu is what it is. Akasha is what it is. Tejascha, the light or fire is what it is. When you strike a match in the morning, then there is fire. Hot, not cold. Is it not so? Water is what it is, and therefore water flows. That water boils at a given temperature, and that's how you can live your life. There is sankalpa there. Water says that I will flow from higher level to lower level. I will boil at a given. Then fire says that I will heat the water, and water says I will boil at a given temperature. If you see miracle, so this is all miracle. We think that miracle means something, water turns into ghee and stuff like that. All of this is miracle. Is it not so? That fire consistently is fire. So fire has done sankalpa, that this is what I am. And it does not swerve from its sankalpa. Prithvi does not swerve from its sankalpa, nor air, nor space, nor anything. Therefore, everything is established in sankalpa, because it originated from sankalpa and ultimately will go back to sankalpa. All this is manifestation of sankalpa. The whole universe is manifestation of sankalpa. Sankalpa alone is Prithvi's embodiment of that kind of sankalpa. Heaven is manifestation of that kind of sankalpa. And so also the space and air and fire and water and all of these are nothing but the sankalpa manifested as this. Now think about it when you get time. So that's how you see Ishwara. Sankalpa is Brahman, because sankalpa. So they have meditated upon sankalpa as Brahman. So Brahma is sankalpa now. So what is Prithvi? Embodiment of, because Prithvi retains its Prithviness. It does not become, tomorrow Prithvi says, now I'll become hot, or I'll start flowing. Water says, I'll stop flowing, I'll remain stationary. Fire says, today I'll be cold. Does it happen? It happens to us. That's a different thing. See what happens, when sankalpa changes, how things change. Our mind keeps on going from here to there and there, but that does not happen with nature. Not with Ishwara. Not our mind also is Ishwara anyway. So that is that kind of sankalpa. The point is that now Upanishad invites us to see Ishwara as sankalpa, and what you see is manifestation of sankalpa, because what is what is and not something else. That everything consistently behaves the way it does. We don't think it's a big deal. It's a big deal. There is no science at all. There is no predictability. Is not so. If every day earth decides what I want to be, and it behaves differently. Fire behaves differently. Water behaves differently. So today water boils 100 degrees and tomorrow it's already at 50 degrees. And day after 150 degrees. So how many whistles will require for cooking khichdi and rice and stuff like that? Every day it changes, Here the housewife they do so many things together, multitasking. And so cooker is there, and then it will take so many whistles. In the meantime, this microwave will take so many seconds or minutes. Meantime, something else will take. So all this because we know that microwave will behave in a certain way, the cooker, the rice will behave in a certain way, the water will behave in a certain way. So what, Swami? I failed to create any excitement in these people, I thought people were excited to hear this. Wow, what a wonderful thing it is. But nobody sees any wonder. What can I do? How can you see Ishwar otherwise? It's just all wonder. Everything is wonder. But we have our own idea of wonder, that what is Swami? That Prithvi is there. The mountains are there. What's wonder about? But that they are there day in and day out, because mountains, so that is what says, that the mountains have resolved to be what they are. And the weather firm. Prithvi is firm. And water is flowing. And fire is burning. Anyway, all right. So, and so it says here, because the air and the space have resolved in this manner, therefore the rain comes. Because when specific things happen in nature, then specific things happen. Is it not so? The rain comes when given situation occurs. Meaning that when the air and when the space and all the elements that give rise to rain have resolved to be what they are, then the rain comes, and then when the rain comes, then the food comes. When the food comes, then the pranas come. When pranas come, then the strength comes. Then the strength comes, then I can talk. So what's the big deal, Swami? No big deal at all, right? Saeshaha sankalpaha. So this is the glory of sankalpa that is sung here. Because so then the teacher says, maybe meditate upon sankalpa as Brahman. You can't meditate upon something unless it is great. You meditate upon something which is glorious. And therefore the glory of sankalpa is sung here. Look at the manifestation of glory of sankalpa. How the space and the air and the water and the earth and moon and sun and rain and food and prana, all nothing but embodiments. Sankalpa is embodied in this manner. Sankalpa is great. Therefore, meditate upon sankalpa as Brahma. Sankalpam upasvaiti. And then of course you get the result of meditation upon sankalpa. So Sayyid Narada did. He just didn't just look at them, smile or whatever. He did it. Then therefore he recognized what the glory of sankalpa is, which means that now he has known Brahman even more than what he did before. A great realization of Brahman, first as the nama, then as speech, then as manaha, then sankalpa. Asti bhagava sankalpat bhuya iti. O Venerable Sir, is there something greater than sankalpa? Because I am not yet quite free from grief. So is there something greater than sankalpa? Sankalpat bhava bhuyasti iti. Yes, indeed, there is something greater than sankalpa. Tanme Bhagavan bravitu iti. May the Venerable Sir please tell me about that. So then we come to the 7th passage. Chittam vava sankalpat bhuyaha. So chittam also is a vritti of the mind. All of this is mind only. But how one vritti of the mind governs other vritti of the mind. One vritti is governed by other vritti, which is governed by yet another vritti, governed by yet another vritti. So nama is governed by speech, and speech is governed by one vritti of the mind, which is governed by sankalpa. Chittam vava sankalpat bhuyaha. Chittam is greater than sankalpa, the will. So what is chittam? Intelligence. So that's how the word chittam is explained here. Chittam chetretratvam, intelligence. What is intelligence? Now, intelligence in many various ways. But if this is understood in the context of performing a Vedic ritual, let us say, Swami, why Vedic ritual? Why Vedic ritual? But that is the context here. That's all the universe is as far as the Vedikas are concerned. The whole universe is a manifest, is a karma phala. The collective karma phala of all of us. And karma phala is the karma that we have performed. And therefore karma is everything. Therefore, karma can be performed and you do what is required to perform the karma. All these different karakas are there, accessories are there. Chittam va sankalpat bhuyah. So, chittam, chetayitritvam, intelligence. What is intelligence? Prapta kala anurupa bodhavatvam. The power of understanding something just as it presents itself. So, listen to this. What is chittam? The prapta kala anurupa bodhavatvam. Bodhavatvam, possessed of bodha or understanding. Anurupa in keeping, prapta kala in keeping thing that it presents itself. So, for example, a given situation happens. At that time, the ability to understand what the situation is, that understanding is the required in order for you to do what should be done. And if that does not happen, then you just prapta kala. So something happens. All of a sudden, there is a scion, prapta kala. Then, anurupa, what should be done now? Siren is sounded, so what should I do? Or, the conch is blown. Prapta kala, what does it mean? It means now the temple, the aarti is going to take place. Or some bell is rung. In this context. Or all of a sudden you are driving. This can happen in Ahmedabad, the prapta kala. You are a good driver, generally speaking. And you expect things to behave in certain ways. Behave that dogs can run around and things like that. Usually cows, they are standing on one side. Suppose cow runs all of a sudden, something you did not expect. Now this is praptaka. All of a sudden something is presented and you must be then for smart enough or awareful enough, alert enough to do exactly what should be done in that situation. So right away your mind should decide what is to be done. Otherwise, you collide with the cow. Just an example. If you drive in Ahmedabad, you will become a yogi. Because every moment something comes. Something unexpected comes. A scooter comes this way, a rickshaw comes that way. And then not only that, but then a car comes just opposite you. This is a narrow road, you are going, that fellow just comes, he decides to do that way. And not only that, but he intimidates you by his floodlights and wants you to stop. He is coming in the wrong way. And he wants you to stop, don't come further. You wake up all of a sudden. What's happening here? And then either you swerve, there's no way to swerve. You stop and you something you do, otherwise you'll collide. So this is here called chittam. When a situation presents itself, the ability to judge and understand what is called for, that ability is called chittam here. So power of understanding, which is with reference to what a thing presents itself. Atita anagata vishaya prayojana nirupana samarthyam. A simple example. Atita anagata prayojana nirupana samarthyam. So, go to dining hall, food is served me, I look at the food. This is not your problem, this can be my problem. So what is to cook today? Radish, muli. So Atita, in the past, when I ate this, what happened to my stomach? So if I eat it, what is likely to happen? If right away, if this doesn't happen to me, and if I just because it came to my plate, I consumed it, then I have to put up with all the consequences. Here, right away I will decide that I will set it aside or give it back or do something and not just consume because it has come to my plate. Simple thing. And this we make decisions. And if you don't make decisions, then sometimes we don't also depend on where our mind is also. Sometimes we are not where the body is or where the situation is. At that time, then we say, oh, I should not have done this, I should not have said this, I should not have. I say something, I do something, I eat something. And then later on I realize that what I did was wrong. But at that time, I was not alert enough to assess the situation and determine what is the right thing to do or what is not. Therefore, when the situation presents itself before me, right away the ability to ascertain what it is that is called for, that understanding is called here chittam. So a particular kind of understanding, that's called chittam. Because, again here, because when then, so we said that the sankalpa is kartavya. What should be done, what should not be done, what should be chanted, should not be chanted. But how do I decide what should be done? When something presents before me, the past experience, the present, and what the future consequences will be of a given thing, all of this should flash in my mind, then only I can do the determination, kartavya, whether should be done, should be accepted, or should be rejected. So when I am passing with my plate and they are serving the food, accepted or not accepted? This one, no, thank you. Sambar, no, thank you. No, I will say that. Why? Oh, because it is the turmeric or something like that, Turmeric is a great thing, but may not be great. I am not great enough for that. See, not right away that does not happen in my mind, and then my bowl is full of that sambar, then I may be obliged because I took it. Swami, why did you take it? If I just leave it, then somebody may come and say, why did you take it? Because there are always monitors, monitoring things. So then and then I should remember what happened to me in the past. When I ate sambar, what happened and what will happen in future if I eat it. All of that thing must take place in my mind, then the decision whether to take it or not take it. Kartavya, akartavya. You can see how beautifully the mind is analyzed here. A very subtle analysis of the processes going on in the mind. I don't know whether you will find it in psychology or not, but you can see here how the various stages are analyzed here and how these things take place. We may not necessarily note them, may not be aware of them, and therefore sometimes we also make mistakes and we don't realize why we did what we did, what was lacking at that time. So, but the chittam was lacking. When something presented itself before me, right away, based on the past experience, what happened to me? Oh, this fellow, watch out. You see a person, watch out. Swami, don't entertain that person. So he'll come and ask for something, don't give him. Or whatever, or if you ask, give him also. So from the past experience then, right away this thing should come to my mind. Although every time some people are fooled. Same people fool them again and again because somehow that past experience does not come to the mind and we fall in the same trap again and again and again. So this chittam, in the context that we are discussing here, is from the past, then this is the karma to be performed, so this is the mantra to be there, and therefore this is mantra to be done, this mantra not to be done. Why? What is the situation now? That a given karma is to perform, and therefore what should be? Everything comes from my mind. What we let go, what we retain, and that assessment is there, the determination is there, then sankalpa is there, and then intention is there, then utterance is there, then karma is there, karma phala is there, the world is there, life is there. Same thing, tani vaitani chittaikayanani, meaning that again the Upanishad shows, draws our attention that everything is born of chittam, of that understanding, sustained by that, goes back into that. That's how chittam pervades everything. So recognize how chittam is everywhere, how manas is everywhere, in this one also. How this is karma phala, result of karma, result of various efforts made to perform the karma. Efforts were there when there was a determination mind to do that. That determination happened because there was a determination this is worth doing it. How is it worth doing? Because in the past this was done, therefore it should be done now. This one says everything. Everything has a story to tell. And that's how this story of chittam, sankalpa, manaha, vak, nama, karma, karma phala, this everything has a story to tell. It's a good exercise to take anything and see how all of these things are involved. How this sankalpa, because this is what it is. Every day, otherwise I can't depend upon this thing. I bring this book, I open that page because I find that mantra. Suppose the book doesn't have sankalpa, and so every day there is different mantras, different language. It can't happen, Swami. Well, it does not happen. Nothing can happen. You cannot say it cannot happen. That it does not happen. So this is a story to tell. This is karma phala. This is jagat. And everything is involved in here. That's how this is the manifestation of chitta and sankalpa and manaha and vak and nama and rupa, karma phala. So we should be able to do this by the way. Then we will learn this lesson. That is when, otherwise it comes and goes. The way, only this will become relevant and meaningful to us when we can discover a manifestation of Brahman everywhere, which is that what the text is telling us. How to see Ishwara. Ishwara only is not just Chaturbhuja, Panchamukha, etc. Ishwara is Asti Bhati Priyam, Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman, Sarvyapi. And how Ishwara thus manifests in this manner in all these stages. To recognize that is to be with Ishwara. Then you can never be away from Ishwara, isn't it? This also is, you can see how Ishwara is this, how Ishwara is that, how Ishwara is this, how Ishwara is this also. Okay, we'll continue. Hopefully next time we'll be a little more effective. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.